Going live, going live. Let's go live. We are in day 4 of 30 days where I'm going live talking about how to get your teenager to talk to you. Isn't that one of the biggest goals of parenting? Get your teen to talk to you and actually listen to what you have to say. Because that's what I hear from moms all of the time. I can't get my teen to talk to me. Trying to talk to them, I get one-word answers. They're isolating in the room, whatever it might be. So this is a 30-day series where I'm talking for about 15 minutes every day for 30 days, little micro topics about how to get your teenager to talk to you. I've got a link below. I have a new freebie with 5 say this, not that phrases that are multi-use that you can use in a variety of situations because words matter. So that's a little bit about what today's topic is about, is words matter. I actually did it on Instagram earlier today. My goal is to do it every day at the same time, but my actual goal is to just do it every day. So this is what I want to talk about. Words matter. I want to tell a story. Yesterday in my group coaching program called the Trusted Academy, we meet every Friday and we talk about blind spots. I call it the blind spot of the week. And you know what I think about blind spots? Blind spots, feedback is a gift. This is like a little present. I wrap up little presents for you and hand it to you. And I say, all right, here's a very common parenting blind spot. Learn about it, take it in, absorb it, embrace it. This jacket here is bugging me. And you're going to tell your teenager about how you are learning to do a little bit differently. So when I say words matter, so I have for several years, more in the last year, shared little nuggets of say this, not that. And whenever I do, moms are so hungry for it because everyone is trying to say the right words. Now, I will say, I can help you with the right words in a micro example. And if you really want to know how to connect with your teen, you have to work on becoming trusted, this emotionally safe place. So it's words and emotional safety. That's how you get your teenager to talk to you. And a lot of parents say, oh, I am emotionally safe. That's a topic for another day. That's what I teach my workshops about in a bigger space. But today we're talking about how to get your teen to talk to you about words, okay? So one of the blind spots that I have identified that I teach the moms in the Trusted Academy is the word should. Don't should on yourself. Don't should on your teenager. The word should inherently, and I know a lot of people don't think about this, that's why it's a blind spot that you don't realize, the word should inherently is shaming. Shoulding is shaming. So just like for an example, if your teenager is going outside, it's 30 degrees outside and you're like, oh my gosh, you should take a coat. It's cold outside. And they're like, nah, fam, I'm good. No, I'm good. They're not interested in taking a coat. Why? Because they go to school. It's warm in the school and they have to carry around their coat all day and that's annoying and they don't have lockers and blah, 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 all that stuff. So shoulding is a micro example of words that you use that has the potential to be shaming, and shaming lowers their self-esteem, lowers their confidence, makes them feel incapable, makes them think that you think that they are incapable. I know it doesn't always make sense. It's just the truth. Your teenager has a perspective and you have a perspective. So with these say this, not that phrases, for example, like I said, I have a freebie that I've shared in the link just below this video that you can click and download and get the 5 multi-use examples. But we had a chat in the Trusted Academy yesterday. We were talking about emotional biases that we have. We all have emotional biases. Sometimes they're religious based, sometimes they're from our own parents, sometimes they're political based, and we get triggered, right? Did you know that when you have a trigger and when you can identify your trigger, that's actually a good thing because that means you can unpack and deconstruct and make that trigger not become a trigger anymore. That is the goal. So if you say, oh, I'm triggered by mean people, I'm triggered by pickles, whatever it is, right? Think about that. And you're allowed to have things that you like and don't like, whatever. But what we talked about, so a mom in the academy shared that she was talking with her son about he's about to be getting his license. And they were talking about parameters of like, this is what we want you to help pay for. This is what you pay for. This is what we pay for. This is how we're going to assist you in driving and all those things. And I can't remember what they said. I think they said paying for insurance. And the kid said something along the lines of, I've talked to every single one of my friends, everyone I know, none of them have to pay for anything. And so the mom was saying, and I got triggered by him saying everyone. So this is an example of how words matter. She said, I got triggered And I was like, oh, really, everyone? So I love that she just, shared this example. It's so good to hear this. I call it secondhand coaching. When I've got a group of women, one person tells a story, secondhand, you get to learn from someone else's experience. And that's what I love so much about group coaching, that people don't understand that value that comes from hearing other people's stories. So, and I kind of laughed and I was like, yep. I used to be quite triggered by the words always and never. Back in the day when my kids were home 10 years ago, my oldest is 25 and he was about 15, I kind of had this realization. I think I'd heard somewhere that they're called hasty generalizations, when you have an always or a never. And if you've noticed, if you're ever feeling a little triggered or having somewhat of a discussion, maybe a heated discussion with someone, and they say, you never do this. You never help out around the house. And have you found yourself ever saying this to your teenager? You never do this, or you're always on your phone. Okay. Words matter. People get triggered by always and never because it's not ever 100%. Always and never are 100%. And that's just not the case, right? Your teenager actually isn't always on their phone. Maybe they're on their phone a lot, but always, never. So I want you to think about those words, how those words matter. And that's why I've created this free guide, this Say This Not That guide. So you can download it, see what the 5 phrases are, maybe screenshot it, save it on your phone. I also have another guide with 50 different more scenarios that when you download that guide, you'll have an opportunity, if you want, to grab the 50 scenarios. But start with the 5 and think, okay, I have said this before. Oh, I didn't really realize that when I said that it has the potential to push my teenager away. Great. Now I know better. Now I can do better, right? When you know better, you can do better. So it's just an example of words that matter, how you can say it, approach it just a little bit differently than maybe how you did before. So I want you to think about what words trigger you, unpack that, have a conversation with your teenager. Hey, I watched this video today and Coach Kristen told me about hasty generalizations. Do you know what hasty generalizations are? And this is a pattern interrupt. Yesterday I talked about pattern interrupts. It was a really good one. If you missed it yesterday, go back and watch it. But a pattern interrupt is saying something crazy like, I heard this phrase hasty generalization. Have you ever heard of it before? Can I tell you what it is? It's when you say always or never or everyone. And I'd like to challenge. What if we had a family challenge and catch each other when we're saying it? Maybe you could do something fun like putting a quarter in a jar, putting a warm fuzzy, what are those called? Those fuzzy whatever's in a jar, and see how many times you rack it up. It will help you. It will help them. They're really words that we could eliminate from our vocabulary. And try it out just for fun. Have it as a fun family activity. And when you're having a conversation, it helps everyone be a little bit less triggered when the words are used differently. So leave in the comments. I'm curious what words trigger you. And have you ever been triggered by always or never or everyone? Or do you have a story along with that? And make sure you download the free guide, because in the guide, I share a little bit more kind of behind the scenes of an explanation, but really it is golden phrases to make sure you say. Well, it's important to first recognize what not to say and then what to say instead to replace it. Okay, this is going to be short. I actually, like I said, I'm doing multiple lives at a time, and I really want to, for me, I am practicing going live every day. And for you, I want you to have these mini nuggets of information to pull it all together. Intermittently here and there, I'm going to tell you about a workshop that I'm going to be teaching. I'm not right now, but if you download this free guide, you'll actually get the details for that workshop. Did I say free workshop? It's not a free workshop. It is a small ticket workshop. And I put it as a small ticket because I want people to invest and to follow through with that investment. If it's a free workshop, I've done that a lot before. People don't take it seriously. I want you to take it seriously. I want you to put it on the date. I want you to put the date on the calendar, to show up for yourself, to show up for your teenager, because something that I really want to make sure you know and understand is there's a lot of pain in feeling like you're the problem. I talk to a lot of moms who are like, I know I'm the problem. And listen, while yes, there are some patterns that can be broken, I don't want you to think I'm the problem. And I also don't want you to think my teenager's the problem. The pattern that you are stuck in is a problem, and patterns can be broken. Yes, did the bad pattern come from your parents and you started doing it? Yes, did it come from your spouse and you started doing it? Yes, is it something that came from you being emotional or reactive? Maybe. It's a pattern. It's not you. You're not a bad mom. You are an intentional mom. And I want to make sure you know and understand that, because if you feel like you're a bad mom or that you failed or that there's no hope for you, it's going to be hard for you to take these little nuggets and do something differently. I want you to see different. I want you to see different, that your teen's not the problem, that you're not the problem. I want you to see that the pattern that you are stuck in is the actual problem. Patterns can change. You can deconstruct, you can rework patterns, just like the pattern of the words of the hasty generalization. Hasty generalization. If you've been in that pattern of saying those words, that's all right. Now you know better. Now you can do better. And just because you know it doesn't mean automatically it's going to happen. It's going to be completely different. You got to unbreak that pattern, and it's rewiring your brain, and it takes practice. I'm here to help you practice, retrain your brain. That's what I do in the Trusted Academy, is I help moms on a regular basis immerse in what I call the trusted language. If you'd like to learn the trusted language, reach out. Let's set up a clarity call. We can talk one-on-one and see if it is a good fit for you to be in the Trusted Academy. And you can always send me an email with any further questions. Kristen@kristenduke.com. Okay, download the free guide. I'll see you tomorrow on the next live. Bye-bye.